As promised, I am here to do a tour of the second half of my everything journal, my commonplace book, my paper companion. This is my 5th everything journal. Is it? Yeah, 1, 2, well, no. So it goes like this. My 5th Moleskine, my 6th everything journal. And it's been quite a journey. I truly enjoy it, and you don't have to start this big. Actually, when I started, like, how long ago? 16, 18 years ago, maybe more than that, I started with the Moleskine Cahiers, which are these very thin Moleskine notebooks. I don't know how many pages they have. I'm guessing like 100 and something, maybe less than that. So I started with these ones, and I kept working with these ones for a long time. It wasn't until a year ago that I moved into something like this, and I didn't start with the ambition of filling this up. I just knew I liked the size, and it was very not planned, because I just found a bookstore that had on sale several very outdated Moleskine planners. These ones are from 2014. Yeah, 2014. And then I took my kid to the park, and I just started writing, and then I realized that the dates helped me index my contents, and you know, this being a planner somehow made the notebook less threatening. The fact that I was working with a very outdated planner, it meant that anything I did with it, it was already, you know, giving a higher purpose to this notebook that was on sale because no one wanted an outdated planner. So it was a beautiful discovery and a beautiful coincidence that this happened, because I just started writing and pouring everything in here and throwing everything in here, from shopping lists to tiny reminders through stream of consciousness, morning pages, short stories, character ideas, anything that inspired me, speeches, everything and anything, songs, poems, things I heard in videos that inspired me, or in a movie, everything. So that's what I'm going to show you here, and that kind of gives you an idea of where I am, I guess. So looking at this, I will link somewhere here the tour of the first half of this notebook. I don't remember if I showed this. Oh yeah, when I showed it, I think it only had gesso, like a one coat of gesso, and I mentioned that I like the weight of the gesso on the page. And I mentioned that I wanted to try different media in here, but I just went with color pencil because I like the texture that comes up with a color pencil. So this drawing is this same one, just with color pencil. Over here I have an example of what I do when I sit down at a coffee shop. I write where I am, Café Limón, and then I start writing the things I hear, the things I see, who's sitting at my right, or what's happening at my right, what's happening at my left, in front of me. And this has been, you know, meditation is hard for me. Every time I sit down and I try to meditate, you know, clear my mind, it's hard. It's very hard. I don't think I have been able to actually meditate, or if I have been able to meditate, it doesn't feel like the definition everyone gives of what it feels like to meditate. But doing this, it feels like that definition that most people give on what it means to meditate. Clearing your mind, being fully present, being at peace, just being in contact with the present moment. That happens when I do this, and I love it. So I was describing a woman that came into the coffee shop, how she looked, how she had an accent. I was trying to guess her accent. I also take note of the kinds of drinks they have in front of them. Sometimes also the color palette. So there was a, it's not here. This is a tattoo someone had. And I was writing that one of her tattoos reminded me of the cover of a book. But somewhere else I have a description of a young woman. And I loved her color palette. It was all pastels, her clothing, even the mug. And I really wanted to take a picture of her because she looked so beautiful. She was like a walking painting, like the way she was sitting and the colors she was wearing, the colors in front of her in all her instruments. She looked so beautiful. So I take note of things like that. Here I made a coffee stain and I liked it. On this side I wrote a poem of a coffee moon. On this side I left it blank. I just like how it looks, the transparency of the coffee stain. These are more conversations I overhear when I go outside, and random thoughts as I overhear conversations or look at people. This is what my daily planning looks in here. That's why I recommend an everything journal. Like I sit down, I start my moments of meditation, just writing down the things I see, the things I hear. But you know, there's always that list that pops up. Oh, I need to buy this, I need to do this, I need to take care of this. So usually you can see the writing on the other side. I start writing and those lists start to come up. So I write my date and I always do it with this marker. That way I can know it's a very different note from my usual journaling. And I know that I started a list in here. So I left the rest of the page blank and this one blank because I know more lists are going to come up. I continue writing over here. Those lists the next day start coming up and I know I have this page where I started my list, so I continue over here. So if I start a list on a blank page and I reserve a spread for list, I know I have a spread going on. So I continue using my notebook and I always know I have a spread open where I can continue writing my lists. So this is another list of the things I wanted to get done on another day. What else? This I know is also separate from all of this. I always have my notebook next to me as I work on my computer or whatever I do. My notebook is always next to me. So I was watching that show where famous people eat hot wings. It's a YouTube channel. What's the name of it? Like Wings of Fire? No, I don't remember the name. But they eat hot wings and they answer questions. And on this particular episode, there was Cardi B. Anyway, I had it on my iPad, I was working on my computer, and then Cardi B, I don't know what she was talking about war, but I thought the quote was interesting, where she says, "It's not about that, it's about the art of war." And I just wrote that quote. And right now when I look at it, it doesn't make much sense to me, but I had my notebook on my side, and at the moment, it felt interesting and I wrote it down and it's here. And I mean, it will just be something else in here. So yeah, so I have meaningful things and things that I just wrote down and were meaningful in the moment. And now when I look at them and I'm like, okay. At least I wish I had taken note of the question or the first part of the quote. But anyway, here it is. Here's a sketch with color pencils. I don't love how color pencils lay on this paper, but I mean, the point of this notebook is to be playful. Here's a quote I overheard at a coffee shop. Again, I sit down, the time, the place, and more, writing about the things I hear. And this exercise is just about being fully present. And these descriptions matter to me because they paint a scene. And if I write a story and I want to describe a very peaceful scene, like in movies, you see how a director paints a scene or creates a scene with color, and you can also see that in some stories. Some writers are very good at creating those atmospheres, I guess. Also describing things, colors, textures. So that's useful. That could be useful for me in the future. And once I let this notebook rest, I go through the things I wrote down, and then I do these kinds of marks like characters, conversations. I know green is for characters, blue is for conversations. So this is a character that I wrote down that really called my attention, and then I have a category in the back for characters in case I need a character for a story or a conversation and I don't know, I have two characters and I want them to have a conversation, but I can't think of a conversation. I have many conversations over here. More lists. So I left space here for more to-do lists, but I never came back, and that happens. Here I was making a color palette. I bought a long time ago, the Prismacolors, the package that comes with 150 colors. That's a lot. At the time I thought it was, I need all those colors, but you really don't. I would advise anyone to get a smaller color palette because you can mix your colors. So I have been trying to separate them into, warm color palettes or cool color palettes or pastels. That way, if I draw something, I can work from one of those selections of colors. So that's what I have going on in here. Here I was trying some of the colors. Just random notes. Again, something I overheard. I was working, I was doing this, and I had a YouTube video going on, and someone said this. What's this? Just random notes. Again, when I take the time to sit down and go through my notes, I try to make sense of some of these things. If it is relevant, I may add, a tag on the side, a category, a theme on the side. That way I can know what it is, so I can use it in the future. If it's just a random note, I just leave it as it is. More writing. Here I am at an office. I couldn't focus, then I went to a coffee shop and I write about, trying to find a good place to sit, eat, and work. It was an interesting place, this coffee shop. It was my first time trying it. It was here in Mexico, and I think in most of Latin America, we have those in downtown, the old parts of the city where you have old homes, and they used to be very long, like just a stripe of construction. So those homes, you enter, you have your first room, there's a door, then the next one. So it's not like most homes we have today where, there's different places to move, sideways and front. It's all a stripe. So you have the living room, then you have the dining room, then you have the kitchen, and everything is one thing after the other. And I love those coffee shops in old homes, old houses, because it's very interesting to look at them inside. And this one, they did a very good job. They did a very good job renovating it. They put a beautiful floor and the ceiling, and they did justice to the original architecture. It was a beautiful place. Again, more playing with colors. This, the whole thing where there has been a lot of videos on YouTube on how Amazon won't let people download their books from their Kindle books starting, I think it was February 26th. And this has brought up the question, the conversation about the definition of ownership. I have it here because this is just something I would like to keep exploring. So this, I will probably have a tag here. You know how I have my section for things I want to keep learning? That would go in here. So that's that. Like I mentioned, this book goes with me everywhere. So I went to watch the movie Maria Callas, the biography. She was an opera singer. It was a beautiful movie, but I didn't love the approach of the movie. Angelina Jolie was fantastic. But anyway, these notes, it looks very messy because I was writing in the movie theater and it's hard to see. And I have my phone with me and I try to just point it at the page to not disturb anyone. So I put the light at the minimum and I just point the light at the page. And I write down some of the quotes I hear that I find interesting, some of my first impressions as I watch the movie. And these are just quotes from the movie. There is no life away from the stage. The stage is in my mind. There must be a song called The Human Song. And I wonder if she actually thought about a human song, an aria for humanity. Because I think the movie took a lot of, creative freedoms. So these are all notes. The movie is divided in 4 acts, and I try to keep note of the dates and the acts because I do like to write my own movie reviews. So these are my notes, and I have many notes from movies I watch. They look messy because I take them at the movie theater as I watch the movie. I have tried in the past taking notes on my phone, but I don't like writing on my phone, and I find it more disruptive because I have to have my phone, looking with the light up and then write. And I feel it's less disruptive to the people around me when I just point it at the page and write very quickly. So the next step is to log in my contents, finish my index. I go through my pages with my mindliners. I don't have them with me right now. Here I have all my contents. Here I have my characters, copy text that I want to find easily, personal reflections, learning, just stories that I started writing and I would like to continue working on and just be able to find, to polish, and then pass on the computer, dialogues, and world building. Most of what I write, 99% of what I write for myself, and just as an act of creative expression that makes me very happy. But this year I would like to try, I don't know, I just see what else I can do with my writing. So I will keep you posted on that because I don't have a clear idea of how I want to do that. I'm just having fun with the process. I do this because this brings me joy. I hope you found some useful ideas. I did a video where I show that I already moved into my next journal. I have one note to make. As I have been writing on this notebook, I don't know if Moleskine has changed their paper, but this paper feels 10 out of 10. So very happy with this one. If I get another one, this one I don't think I will decorate the cover. I'm loving it as it is, but if I get another one, because the paper is fantastic, I will do something like this because I like my covers to look different. So I will see if I can get another one. I will keep updating you on my process, on my creative process, if that's something that you find interesting. I always love hearing back from you. It makes me very, very happy. It makes me feel like I'm part of a community. I love hearing from you. So I will see you in the next one.